last season we broke league records for all the right reasons. I worry now that we might break records for the wrong reasons.
Lads.
So the pre-match to this one, some optimism, thinking bad run out of the way. Hopefully we could come back and get a win, get that very much needed first win on the board in what was a must-win game. Who was going to be available? Ender Stevens ultimately didn't make the 11. John Fleck, would he be back? He was. Lise Musset, no, didn't make the 11. Sander Berger cleared to play by the Norwegian FA. Bruce Haddon-Dock, was it form or was it that knock that had him as sub? John Egan concussed in the Ireland game but was fit and ready to play. When I first saw the team, I thought that doesn't look like a pacey team, and I didn't feel as confident that this was the team that was going to go on and win the game as pre-match. But like I've said before, I don't pick the team. But there's distinct lack of pace. We need pace up front. We really do. I was pleased to see John Lundstrom sub, but Billy Sharp not on the bench. He must have had a knock, surely. Anyway, first half started well, Baldock got forward well, looked lively for 5 minutes. Pretty much, that's my first half analysis. I can't give you much more than that without really sort of laying into some players, which we all know Lowe was not up to it. His crossing was abysmal. The space that he left was terrible. I'm hoping he's just adjusting. I'm trying to really bring some good news out of that first half, but let's be honest, if I wasn't a Sheffield United fan, I would have well and truly have switched that game of football off because it was dire. Anyway, I guess we went into the break 0-0, really hopeful that something good might happen in the second half.
So coming out of the first half, still 0-0. We actually looked halfway decent for the first 5 or 10 minutes. I think the first and only time this game that we actually had some chances coming from the left-hand side. Ampadu actually overlapped with Max Lowe as the left center back, overlapping on the left wing. So I was actually kind of a little confident. Unfortunately, 10 minutes into the half, West Ham got their goal. A really nice strike by Hilaire. I don't think there's anything Ramsdale can do. You could wind it back and maybe blame him for a poor clearance, but at the same time, if you wind it back even further, Berger was just left out with possession and no one to pass to, so he had to pass it back, and then they had to pass it back, and it gets to Ramsdale with the pressure coming on. I think West Ham just had a really good set of plays there. Maybe Fleck, maybe Norwood could have stepped up to stop the ball. I think both of them got caught ball watching a little bit, so maybe those two you can say could have stepped up and made a difference there. But even after that, it was a couple really good opportunities for West Ham, and then we started making our subs. And I think Brewster came on and actually looked pretty decent. But when Robinson came on, I was not impressed. I was actually really sad because Ampadu looked like he was actually going to be doing that overlapping center back thing, which we saw for the first 10 minutes. And then Robinson wasn't going to do that. And we know that when he's on, he's there strictly to be a defensive person to hold space. But yeah, every single other chance we had in the second half, minus the McBurney chance, was just either a long range shot from Didsey or somebody crosses it in and nothing came of it. But that McBurney chance, we got to score that. It's just, I think it's a lack of confidence. McBurney as a striker, just not seeing the ball going into the back of the net. And that's what he needs to do. He's missing a couple easy ones in international play. He's missed a couple easy ones here for club play. So it's just confidence at this point. And I think that was the story of the day, was some good chances, but we missed them. And I think we got lucky that West Ham wasn't up 3-4-0 in this game, because they easily could have been with the chances they had in the second half. So let's push forward and let's move on to our next game against West Brom.
Player ratings for the West Ham game. Ramsdale first, the goalkeeper. Going to give him a 5.5. I think it's a little harsh if you really want to blame him for the goal. Don't play it back to the weakest footballer when it comes to distribution. That's always your goalkeeper. And then blame him. Yeah, it wasn't a great kick. He did get a hand on the shot. And sometimes you'd say once a keeper gets a hand on it, he should really save it. But that was a fantastic strike. And God, I wish we had a striker that could do the same. George Baldock, probably also a 5.5. Had the first effort of the match, but average in possession, poor when in crossing positions. West Ham did try and attack down his side a few times, and actually they could have scored more. Low, wow. I'm going to give him a 3. Poor passing, poor defending. When he did get forward, he overhit his crosses. That's 2 bad games in a row. He looks out of his depth. Osborne, a better option, who's never let us down. Basham, don't know why he was substituted. Probably give him a 7. Nothing wrong. A reliable Basham performance on his 250th league appearance, replaced on 76. Egan, probably like Basham, solid. Probably give him a 6.5. Maybe bump it up to a 7 if we'd won. Gets a key foot in whenever he needs to. Did have a cross, though, go straight through his legs in the second half when Haller should have scored. Ampadu, a 6, injured, replaced on 62. Didn't affect the game too much, but tried to get forward in the Jack O'Connell mould. Probably the first player we've really seen playing in that left centre-back position since Jack O'Connell's been out, who really did try and reinvent the position like Jack did when he first burst onto the scene. Berger, 6.5, poor final ball on a few occasions. He kept trying, tracked back, got forward when he could, but not quite of the standard we've seen before. Norwood, 6, decent passing, subbed on 65. Fleck, 6, back in the side. Again, tried, clearly not 100%, but a half-fit John Fleck gets my vote over a fully fit one-to-way Lundstrom. McGoldrick, 5.5, plenty of effort, no real threat, poor final ball, particularly at the very end, at the death, when he had a chance to play in. A fantastic final ball, hit it straight at the keeper. McBurney, harsh, but maybe a 5. We needed pace all day against a slow West Ham back line, and he doesn't have that. Missed a great chance in the second half. Decent header in the first half. Tried to keep winning his headers, but it's just not dropping for him. I feel McBurney exemplifies the way the Blades are actually playing. Subs, Jack Robinson, didn't affect the game. Probably just got to give him a standard 5. Same with Rhian Brewster. Set up McBurney on 75, though. Tried to force things in the very few times he saw the ball that, like his teammates, couldn't always find the intended pass. Lundstrom, 5, offered little, made no positive impact.
Right, well, it's up to me to pick out the positives and negatives from today. And I think we know where I'll be spending the majority of my time. But let's start with the good stuff. Egan at the back, solid as a rock, and really just should be the first name on the team sheet for me, week in and week out. And there's an easy reason that Wilder named him the captain. I thought Baldock going forward today was probably our most creative attacking threat. Really worked his way down the wing well. You saw him coming over to the left wing in the second half and tracking back well, and would have liked to see him take his effort better, but solid play from him. That's where we'll start the negatives, which is that George Baldock, our right wing back, was our most attacking creative player on the pitch today. I thought the midfield was anonymous. Flex first came back, so he gets a pass, and hopefully he's working his way back to fitness. Berger was a passenger today. He just didn't do it for me, and it reminded me of those first couple games where he got a pass because he was settling in, and we all trusted him. But he really was just going sideways all day today. And Norwood, just not his typical game. And you really missed that pivot that O'Connell could play. O'Connell and Stevens on the left-hand side. And I thought the left side of our defense was just atrocious today. Max Lowe doesn't play the wing-back role the way we need him to play. Ethan Ampadu, everybody wanted him at the Jack O'Connell position as the experiment, if you will. And I think we saw that experiment. And he doesn't like to use his left foot. You know, he's right-footed, that's fine. But he didn't do it there for me, and I'd rather see him sit in that Norwood role, I think, going forward. Attacking, just woeful. You know, we can sit here and slate McBurney all day long, and he's got to finish better. We paid 20 million quid for him. He's got to not hit the bar on a breakaway. His headers have got to find the corner and not the keeper. But, you know, David McGoldrick's got to stop taking 30-yard speculative efforts and thinking they're going to go in. Brewster, he was anonymous as well, save for the brilliant pass, and it was brilliant, to McBurney. So it's just another day of why aren't we creating like we need to be capable of creating? And really for me, another negative is just seeing an empty Bramall Lane. I could just do without it. I'm over it. Let's get people back But we're on to West Brom. So let's hold that on as the biggest positive of all. Is it's become a must-win game. But if you want a must-win game, let's take it against West Brom and let's get the job done and right the ship.
So where do we go from here, Blades? I'm really optimistic, Blade, but even I'm getting a bit worried now. Quarter of the way through the season, bottom of the league, Wilder stuck on this 99 wins. I think in terms of what to do on the training pitch this week, for me, I think the fullbacks need to practice their crosses more. The crosses are getting far too deep. Our best crosses are going from Basham at the minute. I think in terms of the team for next match at West Brom, I would stick with that midfield three. I think they give us a better range of passes. We saw some of that yesterday. Berger, he's not been great at matches, but I think he'll come good again. Norwood, we're just a better side for me with Norwood in the side. And Fleck, not fully fit yet, but showed glimpses yesterday. I think stick with that, with those midfield three. When Ender comes back as well, I think maybe Ender and Fleck might get some good service down left-hand side, even without O'Connell. So I'm looking forward to seeing that. But I think really we need to get an established side. We need to stop tinkering and swapping players in and out if they have one bad game. Last season we had a settled side for quite a while and it worked in our favour. I think we need to get that, pick a side, stick with it. But last season we broke league records for all the right reasons. I worry now that we might break records for the wrong reasons. And really, we are in that relegation scrap now that we thought we would be at the beginning of last season. We're truly in it now. We need to win that mini league of ours at the bottom. In terms of other things, for the next match, Burke, I don't know what he has to do to get some minutes. He looked really well when he came on. Why have we signed him if he's not going to play? Hopefully he gets involved in the next match because he might have a point to prove against West Brom. But then likewise, Robinson might as well. So that's going to be an interesting one to watch. But with Moussay potentially back as well, Wilder hinted at. Moussay and Burke giving us loads of pace, something we cried out for last season when Moussay was injured. We've got that pace now, let's use it. Let's use that as our plan B. I really want to see that. But I think in general, in terms of morale for the team, get the beers in, Wilder, watch highlights from last season and just try and rediscover our grit and our determination, confidence, our style of play and our identity. Let's rediscover who we are. But we'll get there. Still early days, technically. I do worry though, because we'll potentially have to go on a run of form that will be like a promotion run of form just to get out of the mire. But we can do it, Blades. It'll come good. Keep the faith. All the Blades.
Look at that ping from Norwood. Makes other teams look no good. Yeah. We've got a team full of leaders. Alan Hill, Chris Wilder taught us. Right. Yeah, there was us on the tour bus. Yeah. Look how many goals Billy scored us. It's beautiful downtown Bromley Lane. We are the boys from Shore.